Emily, let me just bring all of you back in, and we'll talk about that Aquarius walk-in song in just a second. I promise we're going to get there. But first, Dana, let me just ask you. I mean, I jotted down when Melania said, you know, I want to be an advocate for women and children, and then she went on and said, our culture has gotten too mean or too rough. She talked about bullying. How do I ask this? I mean, her husband refers to Hillary Clinton as Crooked Hillary. We heard about Lion Ted, Low Energy Jeb, not to mention some of his tweets. Would Heidi Cruz agree, for example? Wait, how would you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to that thinking, you know, going into this speech, we were discussing the fact that we knew that she was going to be talking about trying to deal with the social media issues for children, but actually hearing the words come out of her mouth, all I kept thinking was, have you met Donald Trump? Maybe you should talk to your husband about the example that he has set on this issue. You know, obviously the biggest was Heidi Cruz, the fact that he retweeted something which was not very nice, making fun of her looks, comparing her ironically to his wife, Melania, who is a, as you saw there, a model. So yes, it certainly was an interesting thing to push, given the history of her husband's own social media activity. but if you can separate that, which is a big if, the idea that she's trying to relate to women who are dealing with this, and men who are dealing with this in their homes, if they're parents, every single day. I mean, I know personally, I have, my son's not old enough, luckily, to have a phone yet, but my friends who do have kids, it's a big, big problem. Cyberbullying and getting texts and things that are just things that kids would never say to somebody's face that they do on the phone. Let me just say that that is a weird dichotomy, but just big picture, as I toss it back to you, Brooke, the fact that she gave this speech, no matter, regardless of who wrote it or how it came to be, again, not in her first language, not something that she does very often at all. It was a pretty remarkable performance, just on the performance factor alone.